What's up, my fellow MMA super fans? My name is Nisi Igashano, and today we are joined by one of the best fighters in the world today, and I mean it. So I appreciate him taking a break. Or not, he's not taking a break from his daddy duties to be exact. Uh, but ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Mr. Jared Brooks. Champ, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here, Nisi. I appreciate it, man. Just hanging out here. This is my championship belt as of right now, so we'll go get the other one here soon.
Yeah, that's priceless, champ. And I mean it. As a father, I know how it feels. Now, Jared, a week has passed since the rematch against Joshua Pacio at 1166 in Qatar. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out let me be clear, I'm going to use that pronoun, we initially thought. No, but the bout ended by disqualification with Joshua Pacio getting the one strawweight MMA world title. I just want to ask Jared, did it already sink in? And if the answer is yes, what were the steps taken for you to move on and see it as just another bump on the road?
Um, you know, like right after Herb told me, and I looked at the replay. I didn't realize the severity of what it was. And then
Yeah,
I looked at the replay, and then I slowed it down in the van on the way back to the hotel,
yeah,
and I was like, damn, that was really bad.
yeah,
And it wasn't anything that I wanted to do to Josh. Like, I mean, we are going out there to, potentially kill one another, but I'm not gonna sit there and try to take a man's career, take a
yeah,
man's life, and anything like that. I don't want people to think I'm a dirty fighter either. I feel like I've had 42 fights, and that's happened, one time, and
yeah,
I definitely learned from that lesson.
yeah,
You gotta move on quick in life, and that's a big thing that my dad and my mom taught me.
yeah,
And obstacles come in your way, and I think I've had a pretty unlucky career, like as far as my losses go,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's pretty crazy, and every time it's God showing me,
yeah,
that I need to be more humble and inside and outside of life. So, um, yeah, it's a good learning experience, and learning from that, it just makes me even stronger. So, super happy that Josh is okay, and that he potentially ready to move on quick. So hopefully we get this rematch down, and I appreciate him doing that. It's probably like really hard for him and his team to like grasp what happened, and it's
yeah,
it's hard for me and my team to grasp what
yeah,
happened. You're like
yeah, and
you're
really
like
to
man, it's
celebrate. Yeah,
crazy on each side.
yeah. Yeah, Jared, that sequence in that rematch wherein you took down Joshua Pacio is still debated to this day. And many see it, many fans, in particular in the Philippines, most of them, they see it as intentional, while others beg to disagree. But for someone who has been covering MMA for so long, like yours truly, let's throw the intentional narrative out of the window. And I really want to know if it's more of a muscle memory on your part, since you're a decorated wrestler and a fighter who has started an MMA career under the unified MMA rules of the unified MMA rules. Was it more of a muscle memory on your part?
When somebody usually grabs a Kimura, like
Yeah,
I'm thinking lift them to scare them,
yeah,
right? And that's really what it was. I thought that he
yeah,
was going to land on his feet. When I train with Justin Scoggins, when I train with Hody, when I train with anybody that is
yeah,
is pretty good at wrestling,
yeah,
they catch themselves on their feet. But I I've been going with some big guys lately,
yeah,
right? And it's a lot harder to lift those guys up, and then they end up catching themselves on their feet, if
yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And Josh was lighter than I expected,
yeah,
and I mean, I'm not making any excuses.
yeah,
At the end of the day, to be honest, I was not expecting for him to land on his neck like that. That's
yeah,
insane. Like looking at the replay, I'm like, oh shit, like
yeah, yeah,
I can't get that out of my head. Like for people to even think that
yeah,
I'm trying to do this intentionally, trying to take somebody's,
yeah,
career and life away.
yeah, yeah.
That's insane to me.
So
But
yeah, so let's put some context here, Jared, because there's one comment here. Uh, it says like, looking back, do you see ways for Joshua to defend himself from that takedown that could have avoided that kind of accident in the rematch?
it was a sudden thing, man. It's very hard to
Mm,
put a print on it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It was just like a sudden, like,
yeah,
weird occurrence. I
yeah,
can't like really put my thumb on and on trying to explain it and how it
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
It's something that, it was in my control legally in
yeah,
the rules of one championship.
yeah,
So I gotta take the heat on that,
yeah.
at the end of the day. No
But
excuses.
yeah, but of course, you know, during before the fight, every fighter on the roster, every fighter who's competing on the card gets brief for that, right? So the next question is, were you aware? Because this is what fans are using as an argument on social media. And let's clear this out. Were you aware that takedowns resulting in the head, neck, and spine are prohibited under one's global MMA rule set?
100%. I've known that for 3 fights.
Yeah,
And, I've done throws. I've done,
yeah,
plenty of takedowns that, guys landing on their backs, and that was not my intention, was for him to land
yeah,
on top of his head or on top of his neck.
yeah,
And to lose, as a red card, we all know what happens pay wise
yeah,
with a red card. And
yeah,
I get stripped of my belt. You think
yeah,
that in the back of my head, I
yeah,
want to do that?
yeah,
I want to
yeah,
eliminate all of that
yeah,
from my picture and my
yeah,
world.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah,
not what I wanted to do at
yeah,
all.
right,
And and from Josh's side,
yeah,
I don't want to,
yeah,
paralyze somebody,
yeah,
or
yeah,
be known as a dirty fighter and nobody wants to fight me
yeah,
because of that. And that's not what my, and I appreciate Josh taking another fight. He's saying that he's down, so
yeah,
that's good to me.
yeah,
um but yeah, that's the way I think about it. If somebody's thinking I'm trying to attempt a murder, or
yeah,
trying to do something inside of the ring. I've had, like I said,
yeah,
almost 45 fights in my whole
yeah,
career, and
true.
I've I've I barely hurt anybody off of my slams.
Yeah, yeah. It's better that we get that clarification from you. Now, Jared, if we would assess the takedown you executed in the rematch, that's legal under unified MMA rules because Joshua was attempting a submission, in particular a Kimura lock. And regardless of how you bring him down, under unified MMA rules, it's a clean takedown. Now the question is, do you think one should revisit this rule, or now looking back, do you see the wisdom behind it as to why one distance itself from that move or in spiking in general?
Even though it's like a freak accident, I mean, it would have been great to
Yeah,
to celebrate that win,
yeah,
but at the same time, I understand where, like, watching the video,
yeah,
going back and putting it
yeah,
into
yeah,
slow motion while they put it in slow motion, I was like, I can definitely see,
yeah,
why one championship does that. And
yeah,
it's okay, man.
yeah,
I'm not biased to
yeah,
anything. If I lose, I understand. Like, it's something that I understand. I'm moving on from it, and
yeah,
anytime that I lose, it's in twos. So
yeah.
you best know I'm coming
Yeah.
for literally everything in one championship now.
In relation to that question, it's tough to lose a title on the scorecard or by finish, but losing a title by disqualification is another thing, Jared. There have been cases in the past that titles changed hands by disqualification, and it's not an isolated case in one championship. It also happened in the UFC. As someone who had to go through this, do you think it's fair that titles should change hands by disqualification, or as funny as it may sound, should MMA take a page out of professional wrestling where disqualification, doesn't allow titles to change hands?
I mean, that's made up games with WWE,
Yeah,
I mean, and it's not like they don't do their job, and, like,
yeah,
it isn't
yeah,
dangerous and stuff
yeah,
like that. That is very dangerous in what they do.
yeah,
But mean, at the end of the day, it's acting.
Yeah,
I I do put on
yeah,
like a little
yeah,
bit of myself just for entertainment
yeah,
aspects,
yeah,
but I don't change who I am. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think that that nah, I mean, if Josh wants that belt and he thinks that he deserves that belt, then he may have it.
yeah,
But it's all a champion is somebody that lives in and out of of fighting, and that's me.
yeah,
That I literally fighting is in my DNA.
yeah,
So it doesn't matter about a title. I've never thought about that belt just being a thing or a title being a thing. I just wanted to beat the best, and I still want to beat the best, which is Joshua Pacio. He's an amazing athlete, an
yeah,
amazing fighter. And then I want to fight Demetrius Johnson if I can get
yeah,
past Joshua Pacio.
yeah.
So, and I feel like I really can.
Yeah, let's talk about that, more of that later. So, you know, let's go back to the fight. They say you can't judge a fight in 56 seconds, and I agree with that. Now, but I have to ask this. Have you seen improvements on the part of Joshua Pasha, despite you telling me that, you didn't expect Joshua to be that light for you to lift him up and, execute that takedown in the rematch?
I mean, I see his adjustments in that 50, like we were on our feet for, I'd say 30-35 seconds,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So I did see his movement adjusted, and the way that he's throwing kicks, he's throwing kicks a lot faster, and he's turning his back, and he's trying to get closer to the end of my calf, so he has to get deeper, and that's why I was able to get his
yeah,
back.
yeah,
So that I would say all the way around his movement felt better, but when you get punched a couple of
yeah,
times, you want to really punch the guy, so dig your feet in. So I think that that's all about how much time you put into your footwork.
yeah. Now, this is a submitted question from one of my followers on Facebook. Jared Brooks, do you still see yourself as the champion?
You can't really judge until you're only as good as your last fight.
Yeah,
And Joshua won that fight by disqualification. So I gotta put my place back
yeah,
and get this fight. I think we should get this fight done like right away. If Josh is
yeah,
good and his
yeah,
CT scans, everything in his neck,
yeah,
give it 2 months.
yeah,
Do it while it's hot. We have a lot of traction
yeah, yeah,
going on
yeah,
with Brooks and Posse out 3, and I think that would be huge right now. So
yeah,
but that's if Josh is okay, and if he
yeah,
feels training's another aspect,
yeah,
and cutting weight is another aspect. I
yeah.
get that. So but I'm ready. I'm ready anytime.
Here's an honest question. Do you see Joshua Pasha as the champion, from your own perspective, or he is just a placeholder, with everything that happened last March 1?
I think that Josh is a champion inside and outside of the ring, just like
Yeah,
me, and I think that that's what makes our story plot so heavy
yeah,
and so thick.
yeah,
And he has a very broad story in the Philippines. I have a very
yeah,
broad story here in America,
yeah,
and we've made our art before for 5 rounds,
yeah,
for 5 in 1 minute. But
yeah,
if we paint another picture, I think that we could really make this a war,
yeah,
and see who really is the one championship champion of the world.
yeah. I have to bring this up because that site, the next morning, it's something that you don't see, you know, when both of you are promoting the fight or the event. But it was just a sight to behold that you and Joshua had the chance to reconnect before your flights back home. How
Cool.
relieved were you to see
Oh,
Joshua
I was.
Pasha the next morning?
I thought from your God bless you for hitting me up that night, and letting me know, because I was hitting up his team. I was trying to call Josh a couple times,
Yeah,
but you hitting me up, it made me have a little bit of peace of mind,
yeah,
right? And then finally
yeah,
I realized that he was good from one of your posts,
yeah,
and but I didn't expect to see him. It was a big big sigh of relief and happiness that ran through me, man. It was
Yeah.
good. And I talked to Shatri. Shatri was mad at me. Um, that's really sucked. You don't want to see the president of your
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
being mad, and it's a very understandable
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But seeing his whole team and seeing Josh, it was just like I was not expecting to see him there, and just a wave of emotions flew through my face because I was just like, bro, thank you God. Like, it, I couldn't
Yeah.
thank him
Yeah.
enough just to make sure that he was good, that I didn't just really make the biggest mess up of my
Yeah.
whole life
Yeah.
and his life.
Yeah.
That was a,
Yeah.
a a big thing, and it's hard for me to show my emotions like that.
Yeah.
And you know, after my title fight,
Yeah.
I was crying because it it meant everything to me. Like
Yeah.
my whole life,
Yeah.
I went through the struggles, the
Yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
the blood, and
Yeah.
sometimes you get teary eyed. But
Mm.
seeing Josh, it was another perspective. It was like, if that was me, if it was a mirrored picture, you know, and if I was to get hurt like that, I would want my opponent to come up and really you know,
It's it's
be there
actually a
for him.
cool it's actually a cool scenery because it's not only Joshua Pacio you have there. You also had Jeremy Miado on one table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We all got to eat. We all chopped it up. We all understood each other's side a little bit better,
Yeah.
and it was a good special moment that I'll never forget.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, this scene or that picture, it's not what you see every day, when you guys promote the fight. But I have to throw this question, Jared, because the dynamics you and Joshua have, you mentioned this a while ago. The dynamics as rivals undoubtedly resonate with fans. No one can deny that. It moves the needle. It's organic. It draws in the number. But do you think, with this new relationship, this newfound relationship that you have with Joshua, but do you think this will change if you guys meet for the third time? You just have to put things in perspective.
You know, I forget her name. She does all the production before the fight, like the video production, right? And I think that she does a good job of who I am, and I'm not afraid to portray who I am.
Yeah,
And like I said, there's no emotions going into that cage.
yeah,
And we've spoke. I've gotten into his head. All of that. That's all to literally get a mental advantage on my opponent, right? So the game is still the
yeah,
game
yeah,
at the end of the day. And at the end, bro, when our trilogy is done, then I swear to God, Josh can come and train with me. I'll come and train with Josh. I'll make his team better. He can come make my team better.
yeah. You know, we heard what you want to do next. We saw it on Instagram. We saw it on Facebook. You want Joshua Pasha in August, and then move up to flyweight to face DJ Demetrius Johnson, the Mighty Mouse at flyweight. Now, let's go to Joshua. August. Where will it be in Qatar again? If you want to finish the business there, or do you want it to happen in the Philippines, or do you want to wait a month later for it to happen in Denver, or if wanna you have this extra patience, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, like you wanted. So looking at the options, Philippines, Qatar again, Denver or Atlanta.
There's just so many good things about all of those,
Yeah,
I think that all of them make sense.
yeah,
But at the same time, if I did it in Manila, I would if I finished Josh, it's in front of his people, and I didn't get to finish him last time.
yeah,
So I think that would be a big statement.
yeah,
While in Qatar, I mean, bro, there was a lot
yeah.
more Filipino kuyas than I thought that were over there, and I love this. Like I said in that press conference, man, I
The
love that
real main
support.
event. The real main
And
event.
well, that support is
Yeah,
super huge, bro. That
yeah,
Filipino support, and you know, if I could really get the capture, I think I've captured a lot of Kuyas' hearts,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, I think that if I beat Josh, I want your guys' support, please. I
Yeah.
think that you guys are probably the best supporters besides the Mexican culture. The Mexican culture,
Yeah.
it has a ton of support.
Yeah.
So if I can be an American that you guys hated and now you love,
Yeah.
and go in and fight these guys and have your support, then that would mean the world to me.
Yeah. But let's let's give you a hypothetical question, Jared.
Qatar too, because Qatar,
Tough,
you know, that we had unfinished business in Qatar.
Qatar. Yeah.
So I think that makes sense.
You,
If first round, you know, went bad,
yeah.
let's make the others good.
The two U.S. events, is it reserved? Are are it are the two U.S. events are reserved for DJ? Do you think?
No, I think one of them is, and I think
Uh,
that's probably going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. That's why I want to fight him in November.
yeah. Well, I gotta throw this hypothetical question. But what if Joshua Pacio is not available in August? Are you willing to take another contender at strawweight, or let's say you want to go straight to DJ instead, or is it a non-negotiable thing from your end because the answer should be Joshua Pacio next.
Yeah, it's Josh. Who else is there?
Yeah,
Yeah, Yamakita just got
yeah,
like played with by Bokong Masinyane, and
yeah,
Bokong, he's just like, I get the title next.
yeah,
No, bro, you really don't. Who
yeah,
choked out who?
yeah, yeah,
I choked you out first round.
yeah,
So it's not maybe Mansour Malachi if anybody, but
yeah,
you know, Mansour I feel like still has a lot of work from watching that Saruta
yeah,
fight.
yeah,
And you know, I'm not sitting here talking shit. I'm just giving
yeah,
my honest opinion.
yeah, yeah,
But I think Josh deserves he deserves to fight me.
yeah.
You know, I think that this is a huge fight. I think that everybody wants to watch that fight over any other strawweight.
Jared, looking at the bigger picture, what do you see as the biggest lesson you can learn from this incident?
Be more humble and be more careful. So I just gotta be more humble towards life in the way that I approach things, because you know my losses have always been
Yeah,
on some crazy stuff, man.
yeah,
So you know, that's just God showing you like,
yeah,
hey, I'm here. You know, don't stumble now, right?
yeah,
But another thing is carefulness. I just gotta
yeah,
be
yeah,
careful of where I am, one, in my environment,
yeah,
where I am in the cage,
yeah.
my thought process. Yeah, just be more careful.
Now we're just seeing the lighter version of the monkey god because you have your princess over there, and a lot of part of it. This is a new sight. That's adorable. That's adorable, Jared. But to end this interview, the monkey god, how determined are you to get back to your throne as the strawweight MMA king of one championship? Let's end this way.
I am I am this determined. I am about to rock her to sleep and wait for my girlfriend to get back home from work, run 5 miles, go to the gym, and then go to work. That's how determined I am. So
Ja-
uh, I'm very determined, my brother.
Jared, it warms my heart that you allowed us to hear your thoughts on the issue, and as always, we wish you nothing but the best.
I love you, my Filipino Kuyas. I love you, Nisi. I appreciate you guys. And thank you guys for all your comments and love and support. Love, hate, it's a thin line, like I always said.
Yeah,
Appreciate everybody.
yeah. That's it for all of us here on the MMA Superfan. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest content from the MMA Superfan. Again, I'm Nisi Casiano with the Monkey God, Jared Brooks, and his adorable daughter.
Yeah, she's great, right?
Till next time.